The link is up. What's that? The link is up. So you go to MPW Digital on YouTube. The link is up.
Welcome into the live stream here from McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal. That's Tyler. I'm going to move AJ in a second, then I'll get our audio thing started. Tyler.
How we doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm failing to lock some of the screens.
Yeah, I'll talk while you produce. Welcome, everybody, to the show. This should be a great one. Everybody's waiting on it. Even my man, Scoops. He couldn't sleep last night. It's going to be a chaos review Monday. I was joking with Scoops earlier. I said this show will write itself. It took about 14.3 milliseconds to get the outline for this one. And there he is, live and in person, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm my old man. I joined you from my old man rocking chair today. The man, the myth, the legend, fellow three-time world champ, fellow three-time great flag football coach, AJ McCarron. How we doing, sir?
Doing good.
Appreciate you joining us nice and early.
You ready to get rolling? We'll start an audio file.
Let's do it. Bob's got me on some good stuff today, Scoops. Okay, this is gonna be great.
Keep an eye on the clock. Remember, I've got a press conference I got to go to at 2. I'm still covering a team that believes it's in the race. We'll talk about it in a minute.
All right, let's do it. This is gonna be great. I don't know where my microphone is. I don't know what to do with my hands, so I got to figure out how I'm going to do this thing.
Just stop talking for 1 second. Hold on. Okay. Welcome into another edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey from somewhere in South Carolina. AJ McCarron joins from, I'm guessing, lower Alabama as get ready for a Mac 10 Monday edition of the show. Happy Thanksgiving week to everyone. Thank you for being with us. And thanks to our friends at Rain Total Body Fuel because they've now sponsored 238 of these circuses. Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push your limits and achieve your goals. So check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Scoops, I know you see this. AJ, this will get your mind right here. We're gonna have to get some of this for the Talladega trip that I made up some ground on this week. But we're gonna have to get this bad boy. So I'm rolling with. Talk to Bob. I'm rolling with the monster, the beast, the hard seltzer. I'm going with the Scary Berry, 6%. 6%.
6%.
Alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. So 6%. This right here.
The same thing I was, like 6% what?
6% alcohol right here. This will get your mind right. So we got it. It's good stuff. So wherever you're located, go to your local deal. Take and Monster. They own Rain, and make sure you get you some The Beast. Also, this is what's on Tyler Reddick's car. So just we're getting a little Talladega prep in. That's what we're doing. We're getting a little Talladega prep in. Scoops, the Cooper Chevrolet chat is already bumping, and it's going to continue to bump all day long. And remind everybody that at Cooper Chevrolet, you can get incredible red tag discounts and finance rates on select new Chevy models like 0% APR, or fantastic Black Friday deals on other new Chevy, Buick pre-owned, and certified used vehicles. They have over 375 new and used priced and ready to sell today. Don't wait. Give our friends at Cooper Chevrolet a call at area code 256-236-4481. And Scoops, AJ, I know y'all know it. This episode is also brought to you by our good friends at PTG Outdoors. They are a Camus boats dealer. They have both fresh and saltwater boats. They sell and service Mercury outboards. They do custom marine electronic installations with Garmin, Humminbird, and Low Ranch products. You can get all of your fishing needs and custom golf cart retrofits where they replace all of the batteries with a single lithium battery. Actually, one of our listeners this past weekend went and got their golf cart retrofitted with a single lithium battery. Located right there in Grenada, Mississippi. Make sure you call them at 662-459-9311, or more importantly, go on to the online store at ptgoutdoors.com. In the promo code, enter MPW. That will register you for the month-long giveaway of the big Garmin giveaway at the end of the month. Great time, Black Friday, PTG outdoors.com. Let's go, Scoops. I got it all in.
How about that? Impressive.
All right.
Where are you? You're in South Carolina?
I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. Greenville, South Carolina, my brother-in-law's house. We're out here on the porch. Got the fireplace right here to my left. I got a little Christmas gnome. I got the tree up. Got my rocking chair. Beautiful day. You can't beat it. So we're doing family Thanksgiving this evening.
Okay.
And then got another one here in a few. Days. So yeah, doing a little bit of everything. So before we get started, I got to tell you about my weekend. Got to tell you about my Saturday.
Okay.
I get it. AJ, I get it. I have no questions. I understand. I go to see a good friend of mine, Matt Luke. Went to went to Clemson game on Saturday. Showed up, went by the facility, and I understand what it's all about. I understand the Clemson fandom. I think we, as McCready and Siskey, I think we should stamp Clemson as America's team.
Oh God, really?
I think they should be America's team. Okay. I think AJ is going to turn into a Clemson fan when I tell you this. So first, when we get there, everybody's very uncomfortably nice. Okay.
AJ's look was, I don't think so.
Right. Everyone's uncomfortably nice. Okay. Like you're being too nice to me kind of deal.
Well, so far that's not the great sales pitch. So keep going.
All right. Here we go. We get in the stadium. Everything's great. Everybody's nice. We get in the stadium. America's team. Can you please stand? We do hands over your heart. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America. We say the pledge. Hands over the heart. We say the pledge. What's that followed up with, Scoops? The band playing God Bless America. What's that followed up with, Scoops? I'm talking about full-fledged prayer. I've coached in 293 games. Never seen it. Full-fledged prayer.
Only other place that does that, Oklahoma City Thunder has a prayer before basketball games.
I'm in. How about this?
After the prayer, dear God, please don't let another one get hurt. Amen.
Yeah. After that, what do we do? We go national anthem. And what do we do after that? We have a flyby by F-35s right over the top in the Citadel game of all things. All right, Citadel game of all things. I'm in. America, hashtag America.
Dabo run down the hill real hard?
Absolutely. Dabo ran down the hill. And then it was Veterans Day, right? And so they had just amazing tributes in every single break to soldiers. They had, I don't know, I think some people call it the wreath ceremony. I don't know the exact name of the ceremony, but they had members of, I'm talking about, like, it was one of those deals where you were crying. I wasn't crying. You were crying. It was one of those, they had all the service members out there, and they came and they did the ceremony where they put the guns in the ground and then put the helmet on top, the dog tags and the boots. Oh, dude. And they played taps. Hashtag America. America's team, the Clemson Tigers.
Shout out to Austin Blancett for the super chat. He says, after one of the worst sports weekends of my life last weekend, I can confidently say this show has been what I've been waiting on to cheer me up. Love you guys. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate that.
And you know what, Scoops? That's a great transition there, Austin. Because at 11 o'clock on Saturday, we got a lot of Ole Miss fans listen to the show. A lot of the OGs, when this first started, 99% of them were probably Ole Miss fans, and it's obviously grown since then. The Florida Gators beat the Ole Miss Rebels 24-17. Kind of took the playoff hopes away from a lot of teams, but especially Ole Miss on Saturday. I'll give my brief thoughts and let you guys go on. I had to go back and watch this game. I watched about a quarter and a half. Obviously, I saw the last two drives. I saw about the first quarter, last two drives, and I went back and watched the rest of the game after knowing the results yesterday. This game, really, especially after you know the results of the game, look, it kind of boiled down to basically two things for me. Is like they just didn't execute. They didn't execute at the end of the day. I thought that they were put in positions to be successful and did not execute. You could question if you had questioning on coaching, it would be I would probably take the points on the road in some situations instead of going for it. But with that, all that being said, I mean, that's also what got you to this point too. Going forward on fourth down is only a problem when you don't get it, right? I mean, he's been very successful going forward on fourth down, and he just got put in a position where he didn't make it, and then the muff punt, and then
that was big.
And then at the end of the game, the last two drives, I thought Jackson Dart played really, really, really well to the last two drives, and I thought he started pressing a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, a lot of bit. So
a lot of bit.
The first pick he threw, they were driving the ball all the way down the field, and the first pick he threw, it wasn't into triple coverage. It was into three guys on top of. I mean, triple coverage can be, one high, one left, one right. No, there were three on top. And so that was the one place the ball couldn't go. And he was pressing a little bit. The second
he made that decision way before the snap.
Yeah, that ball, he knew where he was going when he broke the huddle. He knew where he was going with the ball. He did not care what the coverage was or how they played it.
He had the over route one-on-one.
Yeah, well, it had to be. There wasn't anybody left, so all three of them were three of them back. I think everybody else was one-on-one. But the last pick was a true miscommunication. That was a read route. I don't, and that was probably broken off when it shouldn't be. I actually think the last one was probably on the receiver, not as much as it was quarterback.
I have it on good authority that it was the receiver. He didn't run the proper route.
That was not
broke it off.
So my issue with that is, why are we calling a play like that where the receiver has the option? Like in a situation when you're driving down, I like plays where there's no second guessing. So I know he has this route. Just let me read it out, because it's too much of a toss up. And I understand that offense and certain offenses. I've had them where the receiver can read it based off what he feels the coverage is. But in that situation, let the quarterback just determine. Let him be the only one that's reading. The receivers know, hey, this is the route I have. It's a standard deal, and let the quarterback put the ball where it needs to be. I'm not a fan at all of letting the receiver have multiple options when you're driving down.
You know what I didn't like about what they did late is it felt like they were pressing is the right word, but it felt like they were also like in a hurry, and they still had time. You just, they were in the plus territory. You just kind of needed to keep moving the football. You still had your timeouts. On the first interception, you still had your timeouts. You had lots of time. Frankly, had that play worked, you were giving Florida the football with too much time. I mean, you were trying to kind of go. It just felt like they panicked a little.
Every play call was a shot.
Yeah. It
was downfield. I mean, he tried to throw a sail route. The other pick to seal the game, he tried to throw a cover two ball, and it looked like the receiver ran a stop route or a lightning hitch, something like it. He was throwing it like it was a cover two ball.
My criticism,
or the one before the last one.
Yeah. My criticism of them offensively on Saturday was that there were just too many times where I felt like they were trying to be cute, like they were trying to throw something at Florida that Florida hadn't seen, things of that nature, as opposed to, hey, let's just line up and play football and figure out a way to get this win and get out of here with a dub and go home, beat Mississippi State, get into the playoffs, see where it all goes. And instead it felt like as every little wrinkle didn't work, it almost created a little more angst, a little more, not panic, but just a little more, hey, let's press, a little, gotta go get it now. It's and I think it just kind of built, it's interesting that this team a year ago played a whole bunch of close games and won them all. I mean, the 2 games they lost last year at Alabama, at Georgia were games that were out of hand in the second half. This year, they've won a bunch of games by double digits, including Georgia, including South Carolina, Arkansas on the road, Oklahoma, everything. But they've played now 3 close games and lost all 3 of them. And you start to wonder, is that coincidence? I mean, it certainly could be. 3 games is an awfully small sample size. Or is that a symptom of something else?
I'll tell you, I didn't like Jackson's mannerisms after he threw the first pick. You would have thought the world was coming to an end. I mean, and it was going to get overturned. It's the one that got overturned, but I mean, he ripped his helmet off, his little nightcap off. I mean, he was running his hands through his hair, like distraught. I mean, it was all over the place. I'm like, gosh, damn, he is emotional. And I understand like certain situations, but hell, like you still had time on the clock. Like you got to fucking regroup the guys and, get them back into the mindset of, hey, we get a stop right here. We're going down and scoring. Like it just seemed like he was just already out of it. And then at that point, it was like he was praying for something good to happen rather than just trusting his ability. Hell, and even in that situation, I'd like to see him use his legs some. I mean, he can run. It doesn't have to be a big play. It's almost like he wasn't reminded, or I mean, hell, we don't know. Maybe Lane told him in the headset, but just something to give him to kind of calm him down. Say, hey, remember right here, like use your feet if you can. Like if it's not open, use your feet. And let's just stay positive. Get positive yards in that situation, because when you take a sack or you have a negative play, now it really feels like the world's coming to an end. And you don't have to press. Then you start pressing. But if you can just get something positive in a situation like that, you start to gain momentum, and the offense for some reason just starts to click. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's weird to explain, but that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, and then the one. And you probably saw this, the very first when the Wright got knocked out, I'm talking about he got smoked at the beginning of the game. And they came back to it on the one. It was the same play that was the pick that got overturned. They were running – I thought it was a sell route. I guess it was more of a corner route with a clear. And whoever was doing the clearing wasn't doing the clearing and did it twice in a row. That's a fundamental problem. When you got a wide receiver – that's not doing his job. And a lot of us, hey, they know they're not getting the ball. Like I tell people all the time, the most important job that you'll ever have as a wide receiver is when you have to run a route that you're not getting the ball, but you still have to run the route to get somebody else open. Well, hell, whoever one was, they didn't clear on the first one. They got the tight end knocked the fuck out. And then the second one was a pick because you had 2 guys on top of each other. You had 2 defenders in the area. They should have blown the entire top off and been running with leverage to the boundary and making it easier for an easier throw for the quarterback, because when you got a corner sitting there, he's supposed to be cleared out, and you had a corner sitting there both times. I don't know, that one probably bothered me a little bit. As far as all that, and then when Jackson's an emotional player, he's an emotional player. But to AJ's point, there is a point in time. There's a very fine line. Like AJ's an emotional player. There's a very fine line between being emotional and being unstable, and it is a fine line. And you can't ever reach unstableness until the clock hits 000. Yeah. Then you can, when the game's over with, okay, let it go, do what you need to do. But I think it took him a little bit, and I don't think it's coincidence that the very next play was the one that was the last pick. It was the very next play, and then to AJ's point, you got an emotional quarterback with a receiver that hasn't shown that he, in my opinion, hasn't shown all year that he knows how to read space and do those things. And then you're putting that in their hands instead of, hey, we're calling a comeback or it's a go or it's a Tacoma or it's a Seattle. There's not anything in between. We're calling it for you. So I think from a coaching standpoint that. And then one thing in the Cooper Chevrolet chat, I think it was Josh Van Dyke brought up this Bentley thing, right? And I've seen enough the last 2 days. I know, Neal, you've probably seen enough that make you puke in the last 2 days about all this Bentley stuff. Like, guys, Yeah, that running back, that running back that didn't play, that guy that running back that didn't play.
Oh, you mean the receiver from Utah State?
Oh, that guy. Yeah, that guy.
Oh, which
Look,
one?
I'm just
I'm
Bentley talking about.
kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah.
I didn't know if I was getting cut out or not, so I said yeah, but it's not like you had Derrick Henry on the bench or Saquon Barkley or Bo Jackson. Okay,
I mean, I get it, Tyler, but they've been really cute with this all. I think the people are frustrated because they've been so cute with it. Look, they made a decision.
But it hasn't really. I wouldn't say it's really cute, or he just hasn't played. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
here's the thing, and I'm not one of the people, like, I disagree with the fans that are like, if you just put Bentley in there, they win the national title. I disagree.
That's my point. That's my point.
But here's the thing. They made a decision in December about Quinshon Judkins. You can say it was the right decision. You can say it was the wrong decision. It's up to you. But they did. They made a decision. And they doubled down on Ulysses Bentley. They gave him a lot of money, and then they didn't use him, and nobody explains why. And so when you don't have an explanation that satisfies the fans, here's a rule about information in the world. In the wake of explanations and rational discussions, rumor fills the void. Happens in everything, in politics, in football, in life, in anything. If you don't explain something, rumor fills the void. People aren't willing to go, okay, well, I'm sure there's an explanation. I'll just wait for it. Maybe I'll never get it. I'll just let it go. They don't do that. They say there must be a scandal. Somebody must be somebody, somebody. And that stuff begins to take on a life of its own. Ole Miss's problem on offense all season has been up front. They're limited up front. They broke down in pass protection. They cannot establish a running game against anyone with a pulse. And, I mean, anyone. They can't establish a running game. And so when Dart gets pressured, they're without Trey Harris right now. Jordan Watkins is playing hurt. Juice Wells has been mostly ineffective, very inconsistent. They haven't had I think Caden Lee's been really good, but I think he's battling a little hamstring thing right now. They've just got a lot of stuff, and when you've got stuff in your offensive front, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know. I mean, AJ, I'm going to guess you're a better quarterback when the offensive line's protecting you and giving a clean pocket than you are when the defensive guys are all in your face and everything's out of rhythm. I'm sure that just if I were to take out just look at your metrics from your numbers from those two situations, AJ with a clean pocket and time to do what he needs to do does better than AJ in chaos. And so I think you've seen some of that this year with Jackson. I thought you saw it Saturday. Listen, one of the things we don't do in football, and it drives me nuts, credit to Billy Napier and the Gators, man. I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row that a team that had every reason in the world to go, screw it. They kind of kept going. And I thought Billy had a post-game comment that was profound, probably a life lesson for all of us. There's value in hope. There's value in belief. There's value in hard work. And for them, things have started to click late in the season, but they've started to click, and they're playing with some confidence right now, and people are excited to come to work and come to practice. And you see the results of it. They're going to probably beat Florida State and get to 7-5 and go into this offseason as a team that's got some momentum. They've got a really good young quarterback who is so physically talented, and he very clearly has it oozing out of his pores. I don't know. You guys can tell me about his quarterback play, but it's obvious that he's got a lot of charisma and leadership, and guys follow him. And they believe in him, and they've given him some time, and they've kind of opened things up for him a little bit, and they got a running game going. Look, the team that won ran the ball effectively, and the team that didn't. It's not as complicated as sometimes we try to make this game.
Hey, what about this? What I was thinking about this, assuming Florida, and you know what assuming will do with this after this past weekend, but assuming Florida beats Florida State, who would have had – you remember, this is why I hate preseason prediction stuff that we do, right? We all went through this last 5 weeks Murder's Row that was on Florida's schedule. If any person in America would have said, hey, Billy Napier is going to have a winning record, he's going to go 3-2 in the last 5 games, how many people would have believed them?
And probably an injury to Lagway away from 4-1.
Yeah, they probably would have beat Georgia for sure. I would have liked to see the Texas game with Lagway.
Yeah, Texas is glad you did not see that game, but yes.
But it's but no, I think what Billy's done is it's I am glad because it's some validation for me. I'm glad he's finally winning, so I don't have to listen to all the haters all off season again. But look, Billy's a hell of a coach. There's no doubt. And in the running game, and look, the defense. I know there's a lot of frustrations on the defense, all that stuff, but that's football, right? I think the defense. One, you give up 24 points in an SEC football game, you should be able to win the game. Okay, in my opinion. Two is the defense has been carrying the water for a long time, and for me, at the end of the day, we knew it was going to be one way or another, but it's the running game that we talked about at the very beginning of the season. It's the running game that will eventually be the inability to have a running game consistently is going to be the dagger that keeps Ole Miss out of the playoffs. All right, AJ, you know whose turn it is now, don't you, boss?
Hey, by the way, before y'all go to that, just to tease this, I want to acknowledge the chat. I mean the super chat. Clutch Cam TV says, I know it's not likely, but with Ole Miss at 15, what would have to happen for them to get in? He's referring to the AP poll. We'll talk about that here in a bit.
Yeah, we'll get to it. All right, AJ. There was a rumor. There's this crazy rumor going around town that Saturday night at 6:30, Alabama went to Norman, Oklahoma. I don't know if this is true or not, but somebody told me that Alabama got on a plane and they flew out to Norman, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma beats Alabama 24-3. 24-3. All right, so here's my challenge to you is can you get through this segment without adding $290 million to your curse jar that Catherine's got her finger on Amazon buttons right now waiting on you to curse. So AJ, give me your opinion, your thoughts, what was going through your mind. I know you wasn't happy because I saw the text message you were sending me. Talk to me about the Alabama-Oklahoma game in Norman on Saturday night.
I'm going to read off some stats real quick. You tell me who these players are. It's between 2 players, okay, in the SEC that play the quarterback position. One player has 2,416 yards. One player has 2,396. All right, yards per game. One player has 241.2. The second player has 217.8. One player has 20 passing touchdowns. One player has 15. One player has 8 interceptions on the year. One player has 9. One player has a QBR of 154.9 a game. One player has 153.5. Who are those 2 players?
I know.
I know teacher.
Thorne and Jalen Milroe.
One is, and listen, like, and it's not all on Jalen. It's not all on Jalen. But one is expected to be the 3rd quarterback taken off the board, according to Mel Kiper.
What board?
What? Hey, AJ, he's not, that's not his name. He is now cover 2 Kiper.
I mean, listen, you can say what you want. I've said this multiple times. He's a hell of a college football player. All right. He's a great quarterback if he's able to run the ball and establish the run early. If they can't do that and they get behind, how often has he brought them back throwing the football? And it's hard. Where has he progressed from last year to this year? And
He has.
it's mechanics. It's the way he holds the football. It's so many things. And I mean, it's just tough to watch. Like, I love Jalen. Like, I love watching him play. I really do. It's exciting, but gosh, damn. Like, we got to progress in throwing the football if we're going to be in this offense.
I got a hot take on Bama after Saturday. I really do. I'm serious.
If they can't run the football with a quarterback, they're not very good.
Well, and that's where I'm going. And this applies to a lot of teams. Like, I know it's one of the things Tyler has on the agenda, which is these things work themselves out. I know there's some recency bias on this, and I mean no disrespect at all, because it's an incredible program. It is one of the absolute blue blood standard bearing programs in the country, and has been for most of the history of the sport. But guys, teams that are championship contenders do not lose by 3 touchdowns at Oklahoma. They just don't. They just don't. That is Alabama. That, to me, that game Saturday should disqualify them. It should eliminate them from the playoff consideration.
And I hate to say it, but I agree. I mean, you go into a 5-5 opponent and lose the way you did. And listen, and another thing, Jalen's struggling reading coverages, okay? And that's probably the biggest thing, other than mechanics and throwing the football. Like, he hasn't really progressed from last year. When teams show one thing and mix it up late, the first pick. Now, granted, should the corner be blocked on the smoke screen? But yes. But don't throw it, because it was a long rod fake, and then the corner was already there. I mean, it was clear as day. It's not like you don't see it. I've done that before. Like, you can't throw that ball. The second one, the pick six, he never saw him going to cover 3. He saw the backer, the flat defender, tucked inside, and never
thought about it
with his eyes one bit to see, all right, where's this flat defender going? Or is it cover 3? Is it cover 2? He just already made his mind up, was throwing that. Throw it right to him.
All right.
I'm laughing at Grind in the thread. Grind in the thread says, hey, Jalen Milroe's awesome. Leave him alone.
All right. So let's talk about the smoke. Let's talk about the smoke screen pit. Okay. I think fans got to know this. All right. One is the corners in press. All right. The receivers should have doubled him. Okay. If anytime you have an immediate threat, the receivers should have had 2 bodies on him, to just in case he was pressing the point, okay, and he wasn't bailing. All right, it should have worked like a combo. They doubled him up. Milroe should have looked out there, and like AJ said, he's done this. He's been told this 1,000 times, even back when I was coaching him. If you're throwing a smoke screen and the corner's in press, and you think that you can get a double, you're going to peek out there. But if he doesn't move, you throw the son, and you still want to throw it, you throw the son of a bitch over his head into the stands. And next play, let's line up and do it again. Let's just line up and do it again. Two is, how in the fuck did he not know that guy was going to the flats? You had a backer tucked inside, the corner went soft, and he knows somebody has the flats. And he saw the guy tucked, and he never even considered him being out there. Like, here's the scary thing, AJ. This makes it worse. This makes it worse. Is that backer being tucked? He probably should have assumed it was going to 2, and he still was going to throw it out there with cover 2. That makes it even worse. But no, he went soft, and he threw a freaking strike to the flat coverage defender. Threw a strike. So he should have known that the guy was tucked, and if anything, he should have thought it was cover 2, because they're not going to leave the flats uncovered. And I'm just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I was beyond frustrated. It's literally the same. When he plays like that, that's when they get their ass beat. And they can't get the running game going at all. That's when they get beat. When they can't get the running game going. Now, I want to say this, as Scoops just like to said a second ago. One thing you need to do is we need to give credit to Venables, too, on the game plan that they had. Okay?
100%.
Not only did they, in my opinion, do a great job, that he basically said, hey, look, Milroe's not beating us today. Okay? Milroe's not beating us today. He can throw it, but he's not beating us with his feet today. And then more importantly, I think with Joe John on the other side, I thought offensively they called a game complementary to that was a well-coached game. It wasn't sexy, but they found a way to complement their defense. They found a way, like it was 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, and they threw for like 68 yards, but they didn't care about that. They care about winning the game. And I thought the way they called the game offensively helped their defense. And we've been saying this on this show the whole year. Oklahoma's good on defense. The problem is Oklahoma early in the year was on down defense the whole game. Well, now they were able to play complementary football and win the game. So I give credit to Oklahoma and their deal and for how their game plan going. But I mean, AJ, I'm with you. The thing that bothers me the most is that both of those mistakes were high school level mistakes. And you can't be a quarterback of a championship contender team making those mistakes. And so, I mean, that was as elementary of elementary mistakes in reading coverage. I mean, I would have been really mad at you as a 9th grader if you made those mistakes. I mean, it's that simple kind of things. There was nothing complicated about what they did, turn the ball over.
Well, and another issue they have is that they're not handing the ball off to the damn running backs. Like, what are we doing? Justice Haynes and Miller, I think they had like 2 or 3 runs apiece, and that was it. Like, what Jalen had, I can't remember, 6 runs maybe for -2 yards, something like that. They had a total of like 22 plays in the first half. Hell, the defense was on the field the whole damn first half because they couldn't move the ball. And, I mean, listen, they just aren't a very good offense when they can't establish the run with Jalen, or they don't establish the run at all. I mean, like, what he does best is play action, when they're running the ball well, getting him outside, let him move the pocket, things like that. Dropping back and just reading coverages and saying, hey, we're down, you got to go win it for us. That is not what he does. He can't do that on a consistent basis. It might be decent one week, but on a consistent basis, he is not going to read coverages and put the ball where it needs to be for you to come back and win a game. It's just not. We've seen enough. We've had 2 years of evidence that backs what I'm saying. So it's not like, AJ's just an old man like, screaming at the clouds and he's pissed. Like, no, I don't get pissed like that.
Welcome to the club.
I'm just telling the truth. There's enough film out there. And one thing I think you've seen this year, especially as the season has gone on, other than the awful-ass LSU defense that still – to this day, they're in the meeting room right now still drawing up zone read, trying to figure out who goes where. But teams have played Jalen and Alabama's offense tougher than ever before in his 2 years of starting because they have enough film on him. They figured out what his weaknesses are. They said, hey, basically when teams play him good, they say, you're not going to run the ball on us. And if we get beat by him throwing it, screw it. We'll take our chances. That's the honest truth.
Yep.
So
he doesn't do a great job read zone either. I mean, he doesn't do a great job in the run reads either. And
I would say I would like to see the percentages on it. I wonder. I bet it's at least 90% of the time he's going to keep it.
Yeah, he's looking for a reason to keep it instead of keeping it. I mean, and it goes back to the same thing. I think it's a problem that he has. I think it's a problem that a lot of these quarterbacks have now, and I think Jackson Dart has this issue from time to time. It's okay, like you can never go broke taking a profit, and I think sometimes in today, and I get the analytics, and a lot of this is analytics driven. Okay, we've gotten this analytics crazy world that we're in now, right? There is a analytical. I mean, there is evidence that the more explosive plays you have, the better chance of success that you have to win the game. That is an analytical proven fact. But I think we've jumped the shark a little bit offensively, trying to force explosive plays instead of allowing them to happen in the natural progression of the offense. And I think Jackson Dart's a victim of this. I think Milroe's a victim of this. I think there's a lot of teams that are.
Sometimes analytics can be a crutch. Sometimes analytics become an excuse. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean you become sort of dependent on them. Like, well, the analytics said to do this. You see it in baseball a lot. The analytics said to do this. Yeah, but the game didn't tell you to do that if you've been kind of watching, and it's like, okay, but if I follow the book, do the analytic thing, I don't get criticized. I don't get, not that these guys are scared of being criticized, because they're not, but it's just, I don't even second guess myself. I say, hey, the book said to do that, so we did it. When in reality, I think if you're watching, you're going, yeah, I know, but like right now, what it more feels like is this.
Yeah. Well, it goes back, even going back to the Ole Miss game. Go back and look what they did against Georgia, right? How many check downs and angles getting matched up on the backfield? That was a big part of the reason they moved the ball against Georgia, right? I mean, It's okay. Like, and I'll go back to the great Dan Werner, who's one of the smartest quarterback guys I've ever been around. He's been on our show, right? He's one of the smartest guys I've ever been around in football. And we did a study because we were chunking it, 69 was our, you like that one, don't you, AJ? 69 was our all go concept, right? And so we did a study that the actual yards per attempt, okay, yards per attempt are actually more when you check the ball down in 4 verticals than it is when you throw the ball downfield. Fans don't realize that. A lot of times coaches don't realize that. If you check the ball down running 4 verticals, the per play average is higher than the ones you actually throw downfield and complete.
What I was going to say is I would love to see an alternate universe game where on Saturday in Gainesville Lane, and look, I'm not criticizing because he's gotten to where he's gotten with a whole lot of going forward on 4th down, getting plays, making things happen. I mean, that's part of his identity, and it's worked. I mean, they've won a lot of games. But I would have loved to have seen, hey, you know what? Let's kick a 28-yard field goal here. Let's get the 3 points. Let's put a little pressure on this young quarterback. Let's put some trust in our defense. Let's see what that looks like. And instead of getting hung up on the, hey, we gotta blow them out, we gotta have style points, because in hindsight you didn't have to have any style points. It would have been interesting to see how that game plays out if, you just knock a field goal in, keep, make a tie game a 3-point game, make a 3-point game a 6-point game. Just put a little heat on him. Maybe he handles it, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. It would have been kind of interesting to see that.
I agree 100% with what you're saying, by the way. I do feel like I understand what Lane was attempting to do from a strategy standpoint.
Yeah.
I feel like he was trying to score, obviously no shit, but he was trying to score 7 because he was wanting to create a game where Florida was having to play from behind, because if Florida was playing from behind, that fit into the Ole Miss strengths, right?
Sure.
So I feel that's what he was trying to do. Looking back, when you looked at if going back, hindsight's 2020, right? If he had kicked the field goals, he probably would have had the same result, in my opinion, of being able to force them play from behind and probably play a possession ahead as they got going. So he probably could have got it that way. But I feel like that. I think that was his attempt of what he was trying to do. And again, it's been good to him a lot more than it's been bad, right? So it's one of those things. It's kind of like
it's easy to guess it, right, and to look back and go, oh, well, that didn't work. Well, if we all lived with hindsight being, if we all had 2020 foresight, nobody would ever screw anything up. I mean, we'd all be in great shape. But I get it. I don't blame him. I understood it. I just would have, like I was saying, I would have been interested to see an alternate world, right, where he takes the field goal a couple of times, just kind of settles his team down, doesn't give Florida those huge emotional lifts. Now, on the flip side, if you convert those 4th downs and you punch them into the end zone, we're not having this conversation right now. So and that would be what he would say, and he's right. I get it. It would be interesting to say if he'd have gone, you know what, my offense is kind of beat up. I really like my defense because Ole Miss had like a full 2 quarters where they just completely shut Florida down. I mean, Florida did nothing for a while. And if you could have just kind of punched them in a little bit, maybe Florida goes, hey, you know what? We had a good win last week. This is respectable. We'll get the Noles next week. Just kind of psychologically turn the page a little bit. You'd have had maybe a different outcome. We'll never know, right? Because that's not how it works.
Yeah, and then before we move on out of these 2 games, I saw Josh Pate's deal on this last night, which was awesome, by the way. Tip the cap to Josh. This illegal touching call in the Alabama game. Now, thank the good Lord, it had nothing to do with the outcome of the game. I mean, it kind of thwarted any comeback they were going to make. That was maybe in the history of football, that's probably the worst call I've ever seen. And the fact that, and unless they've done it since we've been on this podcast, I haven't seen the SEC say anything about it. Them calling illegal touching on the Ryan Williams touchdown.
Because he wasn't covered.
And then, well, not only that, like, I don't even understand. Like, when you throw that flag, the way he threw it, right? You throw that flag after it's caught. Like, he was throwing the flag middle of the route. Like, it doesn't even make sense of when he threw the flag. Like, let's say Ryan Williams caught the ball and then he threw it. Okay, you just don't know the rules. I'm good there. Okay, you're just an idiot. We can just call you a dumbass. All right? We can just call you a dumbass. The fact that he threw the flag before the ball was even thrown, like, that doesn't even fit. How do you know it's illegal touching? How do you know where the ball's being thrown? How do you know that he's going to touch it? I mean, like, that was probably the worst call in the history of football. And the fact that
you clearly see that he wasn't covered up, though. Like, that's the part that gets me.
Well, here's what happened. Here's what they were doing. I don't know if you noticed this. Like, they were checking. I don't know. They got something in a game plan or something. They late in the play clock. They were bringing receivers over and creating tight end trips and then unbalanced tight end trips. Okay, so they were bringing guys over late.
4 people over there.
And I guarantee you, this is what I guarantee you this is what happened. I guarantee you, when he came over, I think it was the first time they came over there was a tight end on the ball. He got on the ball. He immediately threw that flag thinking that the tight end was going to go downfield. Tight end didn't go downfield. He's in protection. And so he didn't. He was like, instead of just picking the fucking flag up. Like, mind you, you'll like this, Scoops, same exact referee crew that did Georgia, Texas.
Oh.
Like, they should not be allowed to call football games in any football. They should go straight to 8U football. That's where they should go officiate. They have no business calling any organized football game from here on out. I don't give a shit. That's the worst crew that has ever put on the stripes. And for people to let it go, and for them not to, if they're allowed to even referee in this league again, that's chicken shit by the SEC. That's terrible. It's terrible.
I guarantee you they referee again.
They shouldn't though. It's chicken shit for them to referee again.
You know
excuse me. Tell me what would help them though?
I'll tell you what would help them. I mean, look, when you got a bad day like that, you 2 things. One, you need to go get some life advice. That's one. You go get some life advice on, like, how did this go so wrong? Like, you don't have, I know everybody doesn't have 20/20 foresight, but maybe you need, if your sight's that bad, here's some life advice. I mean, get some form of, like, contact corrective lens or something. I mean, do something to do better, right? So you get life advice and go to Cole Walters at State Farm Insurance. He's licensed in auto, home, life, health, business, and pet insurance for the whole state of Georgia. Contact Cole at 706-525-7850. You can also find him online at colewaltersinsurance.com. And look, once you've got that done, once you got your insurance taken care of, you can say, okay, we can celebrate. And where does everyone celebrate? Wendy's, of course. You have Wendy's nugs dipped in sauce. You had them covered in sauce. I know the McCarrons had Wendy's covered sauce, covered nugs last week. That's what I heard. The rumor. Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy, spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, or if you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. That's 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you have never nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Hey, AJ, you know what? If that officiating crew, if they ever are driving through Tuscaloosa and they started getting chased and their car's not fast enough, when they get to Meridian, you know what they need to do, AJ? They need to stop by Kia of Meridian. And if they stop by Kia of Meridian, are they looking for an unbeatable deal?
Of course.
Kia of Meridian has covered with the rates as low as 1.9% on new rides, whether it's the ever-popular Telluride, the Sorrento, the Sportage, or the K5. We've got something for everyone, plus a huge selection of new and used vehicles. And here's the best part, AJ. With any new or used vehicle purchase, you'll get the chance to spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. Don't wait. Come by Kia Meridian or call 601-483-6444 and drive away a winner today. Kia of Meridian, your road, your ride, your deal. Let's go. Let's go. All right.
When Kia puts a V8 in the car, I'll vote.
What's that?
I said I need Kia to put a V8 in the car.
Hey, call my guy Trav. He'll get one stuck in there for you. Be ready to go. He'll take care of you. All right. And then to complete the greatest weekend of college football, where it was just chaos everywhere. Scoops called it, been calling it all year long. It was the chance. It was prime Hugh Freeze time. The Auburn Tigers in 4 overtimes, led by the great quarterback Peyton Thorne. I'm talking about he may be Heisman contender now. Led by the great quarterback Peyton Thorne. Auburn wins 43-41 in 4 overtimes, 4 OTs. This was hey.
All right. Before we break this game down, I got to go here. I do. First of all, congratulations to Auburn. Congratulations to Hugh Freeze. Big win. They had every reason in the world in the fourth quarter to go, oh, my God, we're doing this again. Roll over, play dead, and let it end, right? They didn't. They won the game. Kudos. That said, I've got to ask you guys. I've never played a college football game. Wasn't good enough to play college football. I just wasn't. You guys both were. One of you more so than the other. I was just being real. You're welcome, Tyler. The idea that a football game gets decided by alternating 2-point plays is maddening to me. This has been a problem for me for a long time. I despise college football's overtime. I understand why there are people that love college football so much that they just don't want anything to be criticized about it. And look, it's a great game, but at the end of a tie, the idea that, okay, what we're going to do now is do something that we never do. And then if after 2 sessions of that, we're still tied, now we're going to do something that we literally never do. There's never a possession in any football that starts with, okay, let's go for the 2-point play. No, it never happens. So you go, okay, so this is how we're going to decide a football game. These guys are going to play for 4 hours. All these people are going to watch, and now we're going to decide on alternating 2-point plays where we walk up and down the field. No, it's inane. It is so stupid. It is like a basketball game where they play 40 minutes. It's tied. Happens, right? What do they do in basketball? Hey, let's play 5 minutes on the clock. Tip it up. Let's go. No. What if we do this? What if we play 5 minutes? Well, actually, what if we do this? Why don't we alternate possessions? And if we both score a bucket, let's have a free throw shooting contest. First one to misses lose. That's so stupid. Everybody would go, that's idiotic. You would go, that's dumb. If at the end of a baseball game they're tied after 9 innings, okay, let's have a home run derby. You would go, wait, what? So we're going to do something that we completely is not part of the game? Again, kudos to Auburn. Congratulations. It was a big win for them. They were kind of due one of these. They got it. This was a Hugh Freeze special. He pulled it off. Texas A&M was stupid to do the thing, but looking ahead to Texas, and they clearly did it. Auburn got them. Credit. I'm not taking anything away, but, man, that sucks when the sport gets determined on something that is just a fringe element of the sport. Why not have a punting contest? Why not see which punter can put the ball into the coffin corner? I mean, why not have a field goal contest? Why a 2-point play? That's just so weak, and it drives me nuts. And and then yesterday, Saturday, I believe it or not, I stayed up and watched all these games. And I'm sitting in my room, and I may have had a little bit to drink, and I'm watching it going. And then I look at social media, and everybody's criticizing. I'm like, welcome to my world, boys. I've been telling you this for a while. Anyway, rant over. I hate it. I despise it, and they ought to fix it.
My thing is, if they have it this way, do something like we did in the XFL where it's 2 out of 3. Like you get 3 chances at the 2-point conversion. And if you each get 3 chances. So if you score 2 out of 3 and they only score 1, they win. Or if they score more than you, do something like that. I just don't like the one play versus like going back and forth like that. That just makes no sense to me.
It's like penalty kicks meet 2-point conversions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, no matter what.
They played a game the other night. They play 80 minutes of soccer. And then you go, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to determine the winner on penalty kicks. You don't do that in soccer. You have to get a penalty. To get a penalty kick in soccer, you have to get fouled in the box.
Right.
We're just going to go, hey, we're not going to play soccer. We're just going to have kicks.
Yeah, to me, that all overtimes are dumb. I mean, even in the NFL, I guess, has gotten closer now when they've changed you have a chance to, kick a field goal. Because I guess football matters. I don't like the 25. I don't like any of the college football stuff. I didn't like the high school stuff when we were in high school. I don't even know if we even played an overtime game with AJ was there. But in the Alabama high school they put the ball to the 10-yard line. It's first and goal to 10. And so, that's dumb. And Georgia was the all-time dumbest. I think they've since changed it. But used to be in the state of Georgia, you had a no diddy. You had a rule they called penetration. Okay. And so they would, if you would drove down and you got the ball in the opposing team's 17-yard line and the other team got the ball and they only got it to the 20, the team that went to the 17 won.
Oh, that's stupid. Dear God.
Yeah. So they had that rule for a while. So, yeah. So it's, it's all dumb. It is what it is.
10
but
minutes on the clock and play. Put 10 minutes on the clock,
play
flip
the
a
game.
coin, and play the game. Have the captains meet at midfield, let the visitors call heads or tails, and then they get to make a decision. Play 10 minutes, and at the end of 10 minutes, if the game is tied, I know this is going to be a real controversial take. So everybody, it's a tie.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that. I don't like tying.
It's not a playoff.
I do like.
It's a tie.
I would rather do 2-point conversions than tie. I don't want tie.
English Premier League has survived all these years with draws, unless it's a playoff game.
I'm not a fan of ties because I had the worst experience, the longest trip in the history of football for a tie. I had to go to London, and we played the Redskins at the time, and we tied them. We went into overtime and fucking tied. You're leaving London. It's already been a long-ass trip. You leave London and you're like, hell, I don't know if we're happy, we're sad. What the hell's going on? Everybody's bummed and now just pissed that we got on the fucking plane to even go over there. It's like, well, hell, if we knew we were going to tie, we could have just came to an agreement here, right, in the States and been like, let's don't go over there and play. We wasted our time even going over there.
Yeah, I would rather go into 78 2-point conversion overtimes than tie. I hate fucking.
Or have a second overtime period then. When you finish the first one tied, go to sudden death at some point. I don't hate the NFL's playoff.
Right.
I hate the NFL's regular season. So we win a coin toss, drive down the field and score, we win. All right, but if you had lost the coin toss, so a coin decided it? And I realized, well, they should have stopped them. No, I like in the NFL, both teams get a possession, and then after that, it's, all right, you sons of bitches, whoever scores wins. I'm cool with that.
All right, but let's talk about the game. So we got to move on for time's sakes. So Auburn and Texas A&M, I thought the Auburn wide receivers are growing up really quick, really, really, really quick. They're going to have to replace not only a running back, not only a quarterback, but Jarquez Hunter. I mean, he's that dude is tough as a pine knot now. He will tote the rock. I thought Auburn came out, jumped up on them, used the momentum defensively. They did really well, particularly early in the game. And you got to give Texas A&M credit. Texas A&M is not a team that really plays from behind. They came back and then came back and tied the game. And then going into overtime, I thought Auburn being able, which shocker, Peyton Thorne was able to drive the field and tie the game. And good for him. I didn't see that one coming. One I was like, ugh, didn't see that coming, but he did. They go to overtime. They had a chance to win in the first. I guess it was the third overtime. Hell, I remember they had chances to win in overtime. They didn't do it. And they go to the fourth overtime and made plays. I hate it for the A&M guy. I mean, talking about pressure busts the pipe, man. That was an easy catch. He just drops it in a big moment, and then rushing the field.
All right,
we've jumped the shark.
This is something I wanted to get to.
We've jumped the shark on rushing the field, man. We've jumped the shark on rushing.
College football has a serious issue, okay? Establish a rule. All right, this is what I think, because rushing the field's fine. There should be a rule. Unless you beat the number one team in the country, you cannot rush the field. If you beat the number one team in the country, you can rush the field. We had Arizona State is 21st in the country playing number 14 BYU. They won and rushed the field because they beat the 14th team ranked in the country. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Maybe they.
What are we doing?
Maybe.
I got an answer. I have an answer for this, though. I have an ansor for you, AJ. Would you like to answer? There needs
to be a rule. It's fucking unsafe. It really is. Like, can you imagine, dude? I'm not surprised there's not more people getting knocked out. Like, y'all want to talk about Jason Kelsey. Imagine coming up and talking shit to Jason Kelsey on the field, or a dude that a big D lineman or O lineman or anybody, and you got a drunk fool, frat guy, running on the field talking shit like he just played. All of a sudden, he catches a 1-2 combo. Now you're getting sued. I mean, what's the famous LeGarrette Blount? I mean, let's just start punching folks, and then they'll make a rule. I'm up for players. Just start decleating dudes. I'm talking about just DDTing people. Anybody you see on the field, just start hitting them, and then they'll come out with a rule. They will. It's only going to take a couple.
I have an answer for you. You know why they did it? Because for the last 4 years and just a little bit longer in our country, we have been passing out participation trophies. But we turned the page on that bullshit about 3 weeks ago on a Tuesday. We turned the page on participation trophies. We turned the page on eating pineapple on your pizza. We turned the page on eating boneless chicken wings. We turned the page on calling your seltzers beer. We turned the page on putting tampons in men's restrooms. We turned the page on allowing dudes to play volleyball. We turned the page on participation trophies. So, hey, we just got to catch up. And we got to turn the page on rushing the field versus top 20 teams. We just relax. Just relax.
That's what I said. If you beat the number one team in the country, rush the field. If you don't,
that's
and you're the 21st.
All right, but no, big
playing the 14th team, and you rush the field, we have issues. Like, there was multiple games they're rushing the field, and they did it before the clock even went to zero.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, they did it. They had to get them off the field, all that stuff. And about cost them a game.
Can you imagine you having to write about, say, Ole Miss gets beat by Mississippi State. Mississippi State starts storming the field. All right. And then Ole Miss has a couple players that just start knocking some bitches out on the field. I'm talking about hitting guys, kids, girls, they're just losing their shit and just knocking anybody out. All right. Can you imagine all the shit that these players are going to catch?
Because he'd miss.
Can you imagine all the shit that these players would catch and how much trouble they'd be in?
No, I mean you'd literally would have probably criminal charges, certainly civil litigation hanging over you, no doubt. And I'm just kidding about juice.
Does that not scare anybody else? Like, hell, we're already losing programs because we got to pay everybody and their brother, a couple $1 million just to come to school. Like all of a sudden, hell, there goes 4 more sports because guess what? We got 3 lawsuits because of players depleting fans. Oh, sorry, you can't play, handball anymore.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great.
We're also brought to you by Parrish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Parrish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, just like this one, Ghost in the Machine. It is fantastic. It's a double IPA, brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from their favorite farm in Washington State. You can expect pungent grapefruit aromas, flavors, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most IPAs. They also have Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb, 6% ABV. Whatever you're looking for as you get ready to, you get together with a lot of family, Thanksgiving time. Sometimes you need a moment to kind of take the edge off a little. I suggest wherever you buy your beer, get Parrish Brewing Company. You will not regret it.
It's probably a good beer to drink when, wide receivers come out to play running back.
Yeah. I mean,
it's probably a good one.
I'll tell you what, that would happen on Saturday, and I was like, well, I'll be damned. I didn't know that I did not have that one on my bingo card.
Brother, hey, so I was driving, right? I was almost parked. And so I had it on my phone. We're parking. And I literally go, damn. I was like, I said, who did he roll out there? I've never seen this dude before. It took me a minute to figure out who the hell it was. I had Brock look it up on the phone, figure out who it was. The kid from Utah State, right?
Yep. All right. Yeah. We only have about 23 minutes left, Tyler, because I got to go to football in a minute. I want to talk CFP.
That's what we're doing too next.
Let's talk CFP because I got to be real, guys. A week ago, I said, hey, this thing will sort itself out. I didn't think it'd sort itself this far out. I mean, I don't know how they even. I mean, we are one more weekend of chaos from being like Oklahoma going, hey, we're on a hot streak. I mean, this thing's crazy, fellas. I mean, I think there's now a real chance that a 9-3 team gets in. I mean, there's a world where this is unlikely, but there's a world where Texas A&M beats Texas. Okay. Georgia Tech beats Georgia. And the winner of that game's a 3-loss automatic team. And like Georgia's sitting there with 4 losses going, just 2 weeks ago, we were a lock. I mean, this thing is nuts. I mean, I know you had it on the list to talk about. I don't want to break the whole game down because we don't have time. I watched Indiana. No offense to the Fighting Hoosiers. They don't look like a playoff team.
No.
We talked about
but with the chaos at 11 wins in the Big Ten, no way they're going to leave them out.
Oh, I tend to agree with you, but like I'm now to a point where I never watched the Tuesday show, and I think I'll probably watch it tomorrow because I'm really interested to hear the explanations. And I'm not faulting them because I don't want their job. I don't know exactly how this thing goes. I think Tennessee's in if they just beat Vandy. That's 10-2 and they're in. But if Tennessee were to lose to Vandy in Nashville, I don't know. I don't know anymore. And you look at I watched Penn State. You called this one, Tyler. They almost lost to Minnesota. I mean, it was right there. I do think Ohio State's good. I think Oregon's good. The SEC, man. I mean, like Quinn Ewers has an ankle injury. They're getting an MRI today. I don't know. I can't even imagine trying to seed the tournament right now.
I'll tell you who I have creeping in possibly if they win this weekend.
Yep. South
Carolina.
All right, I'm y'all teed it up. Wayne S said in the Cooper Chevrolet chat. All right, here's my thing though. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Okay, hear me out. If South Carolina wins this week, and this is where the committee, maybe they can call the Georgia, Texas, and Oklahoma, Alabama officiating crew to do the explanations to the fans. All right, but hear me out. If South Carolina beats Clemson and they're 9-3, and we're like, oh, South Carolina, they well deserved. And there's a lot of people on TikTok today. There's a lot of people, hey, saying this Clemson South Carolina game could be a play-in game. Hear me out. South Carolina wins. They're 9-3. All of a sudden, you're like, well, whoa, wait a minute now. Ole Miss is 9-3 with a 20-something point win against South Carolina. Alabama played South Carolina. They're going to be 9-3. They beat South Carolina. So you start bringing South Carolina into the fact. Well, the two people you're comparing them against in the SEC beat them head to head. So how do you really justify? I'm just saying, everybody's like, well, they've been playing great lately. I mean, okay, but you played head to head. How would you justify? I'm asking here because I don't have the answer. How would you justify putting South Carolina at 9-3 in the playoffs instead of putting Ole Miss at 9-3 or Alabama at 9-3 when both Alabama and Ole Miss beat South Carolina head to head?
I understand that.
Ole Miss beat the shit out of them at home.
But South Carolina played Vandy, right?
Yeah, they went to Vandy and won.
Won. So Vandy beat Alabama. I think that comes back to playing in the SEC. South Carolina beat the shit out of Kentucky, right?
Yep.
Kentucky beat Ole Miss. So I think that's they can chalk that up to playing on the road in the SEC. They played on the road.
They lost to Ole Miss at home.
I know, but I'm saying from an Alabama standpoint, I think I think that's something that they're not going to punish as much playing in SEC, which I've talked about, playing in the SEC on the road. I don't know. I think I would say South Carolina is a hotter team than both of those teams right now.
Well, I wouldn't have said that before Saturday, though. I mean, Ole Miss shit the bed Saturday. Ole Miss has shit the bed, in my opinion, has shit the bed twice. They shit the bed against Kentucky and they shit the bed against Florida. All right. And then when you look at, for me, I can't, if I'm on the committee, there's no way, in my opinion, I don't think it's right, nor should they. I mean, what's the point of playing the fucking games? If South Carolina loses to Alabama, and they played each other. It's not like there's no comparison. I mean, they played each other, and they didn't lose to Ole Miss. They got their ass kicked, and then now they lost to 2 against Alabama Alabama. But they had Ole Miss at home, and they got beat by 20-something points at home to a team they're comparing resumes with. I think that stands out even more than the losses if you're trying to compare teams.
So here's the question: do they use all of this to go? All right, the SEC, it's bully ball. Like there's a stat today. And I don't have the exact number, but I'm going to be close, okay? It's the teams that are in the SEC top 20, in the AP top 25 from the SEC right now. So you're talking about Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Missouri, and South Carolina. If you look at their road record's cumulative, it's like 1/500. I mean, it's to AJ's point, it just winning on the road's hard. I mean, when you go win on the road in the SEC, it's just like, hey, we did it, And some of those wins are at Mississippi State, and they haven't won a game. I'm not picking on State. I'm just pointing it out. So one of two things has to happen in a world where Alabama wins the Iron Bowl, Ole Miss wins the Egg Bowl. Maybe we get us Texas A&M beats Texas. So now Texas A&M is going to go play Georgia and could conceivably give Georgia a third loss, or Texas wins and Texas goes to the SEC championship game and beats Georgia and gives Georgia a third loss. I mean, we're going to have to figure out whether you're taking all these 3-loss teams or none of them.
Well, this is why I said South Carolina, though, because say they beat Clemson and Miami loses to Syracuse on the road. Clemson, I think, gets the bump to the SEC to the ACC championship to play
they got
SMU. So
yeah,
then you have that on your resume of possibly say Clemson goes to and beats SMU in the ACC championship. Now you have that on your resume as well. Well, hell, Clemson's in the playoffs. Now they get an automatic bid. So and we beat the ACC champion.
This is where AJ,
that's a bigger win than Alabama or Ole Miss has on the resume.
This is where, AJ, I'm fascinated to see whether the committee goes, all right, you know what we have here? An opportunity to really spread the wealth. Maybe you take Boise State and Tulane. Maybe you take 3 ACC teams. Maybe you take, just the one. You got the 3 Big Ten teams. Maybe 4 Big Ten teams. If we're going to do this Indiana thing, I mean, they're not a playoff team. But if we're going to make them a playoff team, that's 4 spots, and we're basing it on nothing but win-loss records. I'll say this: if that happens, Greg Sankey's going to have a really hard time when he tries to talk everybody into playing a 9th SEC game. Everyone's going to go, no, I'm good. I'm good.
But yeah, that goes back to if they're going to reward. In which we said at the beginning, it's funny. It's like I was starting to get to the point last week, Scoops. I was like, I know we said 10 wins is going to get us in. I don't know anymore. Well, I feel very confident now that 10 wins in the SEC would get you in.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we were. I started to doubt myself there last week after a while.
But if the league is going to be this balanced moving forward, and I think it is, it's going to be really hard to consistently get to 10 wins if you don't have Alabama's superpower anymore, if they're just a really good program, if Georgia's going to be fallible, and this year they've lost twice and almost lost twice more. I mean, Kentucky was close. Florida was close. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Georgia's just cruised, and yet Georgia played Clemson at the beginning of the year and beat them 100-0. You've got but if the league's going to be this balanced, where, hey, you go play Tennessee goes to Arkansas and loses. Vanderbilt hosts Alabama and wins. If those are the things that are going to happen, it's going to be really hard for SEC teams to consistently get to 10-2. And the incentive to, hey, play somebody in the non-con is going to be like, no, I'm not playing anybody. I mean, we're going to play no one. And so, I don't know. I'm really interested to see what the committee does. Like someone said in the stream, and they're right. There's no data. And I'm also really interested to see, because I think Greg Sankey's about to kind of start having roll up his sleeves and earn the money a little bit, because it's lobbying time.
Yeah, and then here's the other thing is like, and I've said this from the jump, and I think regardless of what happens this year, we may get an expedited meeting at some point in time before June. I still don't understand why we don't do this thing. Like, we already have a playoff in NCAA football. It goes on in every other division besides FBS, and this is the first year. Is like the FCS, they're rolling out 24 teams in this bad boy. We've already got the model. Like, they're doing it. Like, go ahead and expand it to 24, and you don't have to deal with all this shit.
The answer is 16 teams. Go to 16 teams. You'd solve a lot of this. You wouldn't solve all of it, but you'd solve damn near all of it. Go to 16 teams. Acknowledge that the SEC and the Big Ten are just harder than the other damn leagues. Let more teams in, and then play 8 on-campus games, and then you have the rest. You have the 8 on-campus games. Yeah. I mean,
they still have the same thing in the FCS, though, right? Because you got 2 conferences that they're the same. They're dominant in FCS too, right? But if you talk about putting more teams in, okay, you don't have to make the argument about Clemson, Miami, and SMU. They all get in, okay? You don't have to make the argument about South Carolina, Ole Miss, Alabama. They all get in. And or Colorado or Arizona State or BYU. You're telling me that people wouldn't tune in to watch South Carolina host Colorado in a first-round NCAA playoff game?
I mean, it appears that they would, because everywhere I look up, like Norman was packed Saturday night. Auburn was packed Saturday night. Yeah. Gainesville was packed Saturday morning. I mean, everyone's we keep saying, hey, we're watering down the regular season, and every time I look up, 2 things are happening. The stadiums are full, and then when they end, the field's full. The ratings are off the charts. I mean, They're even getting great ratings for bad games in towns not named Birmingham. I mean, everybody's watching. So, I mean, everybody's always watched in Birmingham. If there's a game on TV in Birmingham, it must, like the TVs automatically go to it or something. But like the ratings are sky high. ABC's making a mint. I mean, ABC is going to go to the SEC and go, you want more money for a ninth game? Here you go. Play more. And then the league's got to go.
I just don't know what – I mean, I'm not for, I guess, just being a player. I'm not for expanding. My issue with the whole thing is it's gone from the BCS to where, we need – we were number 3. We should have been number 2 to – all right, then it went to playoffs. All right, we were number 5. We should have been number 4. And then now it's, we're 13. We should be 12. Like, when does it stop? Like, you're not solving any issues.
No, and that's why, listen, at the end of the day, like, seriously, and this is not what fans want to hear, but, like, if in a world where Ole Miss doesn't get in, I just say one word to them. Kentucky. You lost at home to a team that went Ole Miss and Kentucky Ole Miss and 7 in the SEC. If Alabama doesn't,
that's my issue for Alabama.
Yeah,
is they've lost. They have 2 losses versus 5-win teams.
Yeah, if
they don't make it, my argument.
Yeah.
And of course, I want Alabama in it, but that's my argument for South Carolina getting in and getting the nod over them, even though they lost to them.
Yeah.
Is because they will have a more, especially if Georgia goes to the SEC championship, loses to Texas. Now their win versus Clemson, who's possibly could win the ACC, an automatic bid in, their big win of the season looks better than anybody else's. And the fact that Bama has lost to 2 5-win teams, that's not a good look for them.
Well, I'm curious to see what they say on Tuesday night, because they've been pretty nebulous with their answers. They've not been transparent about, hey, here's what we're looking at. And then do they get into the eye test thing a little bit? Like, hey, we know what we're looking at, right? At which point I might actually respect that.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
They can't hide tonight. They can't. There's nothing they can hide behind Tuesday night.
No, I mean, Tuesday's going to be really interesting. And then if they start talking about bodies of work, like, in basketball, it's always, you hear that word body of work, and they break it down. And that's how they negate some of the head-to-head like AJ's talking about. But if they're going to talk in these mysterious terms, you're like, okay, well, how do you put a team in? I'm with you, Tyler. How do you put a team in that lost at home by 25 points to Ole Miss? How do you put a team in that lost in Tuscaloosa, even though it was really close? I mean, but South Carolina doesn't have a horrible loss. Ole Miss has a horrible loss, a bad of all the teams. Ole Miss has the worst loss. The Kentucky loss is disqualifying if you do.
And then Bama's got the second worst
Bama's
loss.
Got 2 of them. I mean, Bama, and not only that, but like losing at Vanderbilt the way they did, and then getting blown out at Oklahoma. I mean, that's right. That's unforgivable.
They said they weren't gonna. They look at in the past. They look at injuries hurting teams. You take one of South Carolina losses away because they didn't have Sellers, so you lost by 3. All right, at home to LSU, but they didn't have Sellers. Or they're a much better team with Sellers than they are. Ashford, Robbie. So that right there goes into consideration for them as well. Is okay. Well, technically, could they be a 2-loss team, really and truly, at the end of the day? And we don't penalize them for losing to LSU at home when their quarterback got knocked out early in the game. And they had to play with their backup, because they also said in the past they look at that.
Yeah. Anything else before
Scoops, you know what? Yeah, Scoops, I just want to let you know is if somebody needs to really get out of town and they need to run really fast, they need to stop by Kia of Meridian. Are they looking for an unbeatable deal? Kia of Meridian has you covered with rates as low as 1.9% on new rides, whether it's the ever-popular Telluride, the Sorrento, the Sportage, or the K5. We've got something for everyone. Plus a huge selection of new and used vehicles. And here's the best part. With any new or used vehicle purchase, AJ, you're going to get a chance to spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. Don't wait. Come by Kia of Meridian or call 601-483-6444. You drive away a winner today. Kia of Meridian. Your road, your ride, your deal. Also, Scoops, make sure you discover Garmin. If you need to figure out if you're lost, if you're a fan right now and your team has lost 3 games and you're lost, you don't know how to find yourself, get you a Garmin. at PTG Outdoors. From cycling and running watches to tax indoor cycling, Garmin brings innovation to your fitness journey. Track health metrics, explore maps, and enjoy GPS precision for cycling, golf, and outdoor adventures. Dive deeper with swim tracking and train smarter with dog tracking tools and monitor performance on land and water. Explore Garmin's range, including smartwatches, scales, and advanced off-road instruments available now at ptgoutdoors.com. And remember, put MPW in that promo code.
We will be back with I don't know when we'll be back. Won't be tomorrow. Won't have a show tomorrow. Just not possible. And then I've got some stuff going on, so we'll see about Wednesday. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But we one thing is sure, when we do come back, we'll be brought to you by our great friends at Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. AJ, hope you and yours have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Y'all too. See y'all.
For AJ McCarron, for Tyler Siskey, I'm Neal McCready. Until next time, have a wonderful holiday week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.